everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And as you can see, we have a guest. We're trying to do less this year, but it hasn't been working out so well. But Jace, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are and how you roll?
Well, I am Jason Malumud. I work at a winery called Penns Woods, which is in Pennsylvania, Chad's Ford area, actually. 23 years old. I just graduated from Cornell, and all my experience really was in finance originally, but you know, it turns out it's probably not the best time to be going into that, so I figured, you know, why not follow my real passion, which was wine. It took about a year's worth of viticulture and enology, a bunch of nerdy stuff up there. And so just started
Up at Cornell?
Up at Cornell, yeah. And so just started cold calling a bunch of vineyards, really, and then met the owner and winemaker at this winery and really kind of liked his thoughts about Pennsylvania wine and, you know, what it could be and, you know, really what it should be and, you know, what was kind of missing, and kind of been helping him spread the word ever since.
Where did you grow up?
I was from Villanova, which is outside of Philadelphia, right near Villanova University. Go Villanova basketball.
They're hot this year.
They're hot.
What are they, 18-1 or 19?
They're rocking out right now.
This is the best start they've ever had. They're looking good. March Madness coming up. Get you ready to fill out your bracket. You've been doing your homework?
Like every year.
Yeah, exactly. And so, did you grow up with any wine interest? Were your parents into wine?
Never. No. I mean, my parents think I'm crazy that I even drink wine. I mean, they think I'm nuts. You know, I spend all my free time, all my extra money on wine, essentially. But, you know,
when did you get the bug?
Pretty much at Cornell, I took, you know, a couple, you know, like I said, a couple classes up there, and that's really where it got started. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the fact that there's always just so much stuff to learn. You can always learn something new, and like you can never really be an expert with wine.
Sure.
You know, it's just the fact that you can always just go out and, you know, just search for more knowledge. I just kind of like learning new stuff, and so I think that's kind of what drew me to wine, really.
Sure, that makes sense. It's definitely a category.
Plus, it's good. It tastes nice.
It is a delicious beverage, refreshing at times as well. When did you find WLTV?
Really seriously about probably this year, just this year, really. And
this year, as in 2010?
No, it's 2009.
Okay.
End of 2009. Really, when I just started working here, I started getting really more into the whole
marketing,
business development type stuff.
And you said, "Oh, look at this show. There's people that watch. We need to be on that."
So, you know, but yeah, you know, just started doing some more research and really started to try and take our winery, which had really no presence at all on Facebook, Twitter, and, you know, anywhere, and kind of am trying to push that a little bit forward now too. And then found you and kind of started hounding you up on Twitter and Facebook and sending you emails and sending everyone here emails, and finally they said enough.
Caved.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the hustle is something we don't disrespect. On the flip side, in addition, Pennsylvania wines, especially the wines from the Chadford area, definitely intrigue me. You know, we're about to probably hear what the owner of this winery sees, but what I see is really shocking potential for PA to be a player. Now, Pennsylvania itself has such bullcrap liquor laws that I'd rather see them not succeed, given the communistic approach they've taken to wine selling to the consumer. But, you know, that being said, I can't really blame the winemakers, and definitely can't blame the terroir, which clearly in that area I think has potential to make some noise. And really, you know, as much as I enjoy your hustle and we'd love to make you happy, there's a big part of me that is doing this show because I want to continue to build on my personal legacy, and I want in 25 years that people look back at us and be like, oh, Gary was talking about PA wines that are now, you know, one of the 3 or 4 most important parts of the U.S. that produce wine. I really think PA has that kind of potential.
Yeah, it's definitely up and coming. And, you know, what really got the winemaker here interested was, I mean, he made wine in Italy for a long time. Actually, he started off making wine in Abruzzo. He made a Symposium, which is a multiple channel de Abruzzo.
Yep.
And the reason why he made it there was because he just kind of wanted to prove to the people that, you know, even you're in an area which kind of produces wine that people don't really think that highly of, but he wanted to kind of prove that he can make a great wine there. And so that's kind of the same approach with Pennsylvania. So, you know, he brought all these people from Italy.
He loves a challenge.
Yeah. So he brought all his friends from Italy. They drove around on motorcycles and started tasting grapes. And they said, you know, these grapes are awesome. They sent them back to Asti, the research institute there.
Yep.
And they said, you know, these grapes are just as good as, you know, the wine you made that, you know, got a 95 or whatever. And he said, all right. So before he even made his first bottle of wine, he invested over $1 million worth of equipment, and, you know, really had the, you know, the dedication to kind of,
How
make
old
the product.
is this winery?
The first vintage was 02.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not that old.
No. And how old are the vineyards?
The vineyard's about 30 years old, so
Okay.
it's one of the older vineyards in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And what is the price point? What is the suggested retail?
So the Chardonnay is $33.50, the Merlot Reserve is $38, and the Ameritage is $55. Double nickels.
Double nickels, very good.
Yep.
Now, does that make it difficult for you from a marketing standpoint that I know that every single person watching on WLTV and all the people watching on Ustream right now vomited at those price points for Pennsylvania wine?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing that's tough, is because the price points in Pennsylvania they're higher, right now, and
why is that?
I mean, I really can't tell you because it's a new area, I guess, and he's invested so much money into it, and is having trouble.
I think
seeing...
it's not a super difficult thing to figure out from an economic standpoint, which is that it becomes supply and demand and cash flow, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're not moving enough quantity.
Exactly. You say Pennsylvania, and you say wine in the same sentence, and people kind of turn their heads and walk away.
Sure.
So.
Have you done some events?
Oh yeah, we do a lot of events, a lot of dinners.
You personally?
Yeah.
And how are you feeling in the vibe?
I mean, the most fun part of my job is I say, here, try this wine, pour it for them. They say, oh, this is great. And I said, yep, it's 100% Pennsylvania grown grapes, and like watching their jaw hit the
drop.
floor. Yeah. So that's the most fun.
And do you guys have any good restaurant distribution? I mean, have you been able to get into places like Lebec Vin or the other PA?
I know that for the O2 Vintage, you used to have it at Fountain, which is the restaurant
sure.
in Four Seasons.
Sure.
I'm not sure if it was at Lebec Vin, but we're really starting to push a lot of restaurants hard now. We just had a great wine dinner at Table 31 in Philadelphia.
Great place.
A lot of steakhouses taking it up. Even some other small like Dilworth Town Inn, which is a small, really kind of fancy place. But some places, I mean, you pour the wine and it kind of just speaks for itself. People really, they want to get on board.
Well, then let's see if we want to get on board. Let's zoom in here. Nice little package. Penns Woods, 2007 Chardonnay Reserve, 33?
33.50.
33.50. And what is this aged in?
French oak.
Okay.
It's a mixture of new and once used French oak.
And then after that, the program, you guys get rid of it?
Or
do you go to some 2 and 3 as well?
We do use some 2 and 3, even
Which is
4,
good.
even
Good.
4 for
Good.
the Sauvignon Blanc. We
Right.
have some in 4th, I think. So.
All right. Well, let's give it a sniffy sniff, see what's up. Now, the first thing that comes across from my palate is this wine has an enormous, actually, a ginormous amount of vanilla coming through.
A lot of yeah. To me, I get a lot of tropical, like I get this pineapple component, but it's like when you take pineapple, you throw it up pot with like butter, you're gonna make a dessert, and you simmer it down with butter and vanilla. I kind of get that.
It's very Betty Crocker-esque. I mean, it smells like a dessert. Mott, did you get the vanilla is quite, it's very dominant. For some people, it could be a hair of a turnoff because it's so dominant. I mean, I feel like I took a vanilla shower. I mean, it's like really a lot,
so
which
we
is
have,
fine.
we have the Butter Bandit, we've got the Oak Monster. Is
That's right.
there a vanilla?
No, but there might have to be. The vanilla villain might have to make an appearance because there's quite a bit of it coming through, which is fine. There's also a little hint of like some citrus apple kind of thing on the back end I'm picking up a little bit on. But yeah, I mean, wow, that's a big dose. All right, let's give it a whirl. Now, how many Chadsford area wineries in Pennsylvania are there, or at least that you know of?
Well, we're part of what's called the Brandywine Valley Wine Trail.
What is it called?
The Brandywine Valley Wine Trail.
Okay.
So there's 8 wineries on this little trail, which
Right, you get a map and everything.
Yeah, you get this little card, you get your whole punch.
Very common thing in the wine world in these 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th tier destination wine areas is they have these wine trails. And obviously, when you've got a small knit group that are all under one principle of raising the awareness of a certain area, they make these little maps.
Right.
And, this way you hit them all up and it gives everybody a fair shot. And it's great. I mean, it's smart marketing for everybody to get a shot. So that's what this clearly is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And do you work the tasting room?
I do work the tasting room.
How many people will you get, like on a Saturday or Sunday?
You get a lot of people coming through there. Saturday and Sunday are definitely the biggest day. We're also open, during the week and it's kind of empty. But
Saturday, how many would you get? Would you say?
100 over. I mean,
okay. And
how many generally between 50 and 100, depending on the weekend.
And of those, let's say 100, because it's an easy number to work with. How many of them are, jokers or youngsters looking to get cocked?
You'd be surprised. Yeah, probably
10%,
like
50%, 90%.
I'd say like 50. I mean, not even 15%.
Okay.
You have people that are real interested in wine, and
sure.
They hear good things, and the word's starting to spread a little bit, so you get more and more serious people coming through, which is nice.
Are you still mainly dealing with the Philly crowd and all that?
A lot of Philly crowd. I mean, we're only like 30 minutes outside of Center City, Philadelphia, so
It's like kind of like a nice date thing for like the UPenn crowd.
Exactly.
Right?
So you get a lot of people coming out. They go taste wine and they go to dinner afterwards. So
are you getting a lot of 22 to 30-year-old demo peeps coming through?
Yeah, you definitely get that, and then. You get a lot of the, even more the local area people, which are a little bit older, people in Chatsford area, but you definitely get, people come out. I mean, we actually don't allow it anymore, but we get a lot of like bachelorette parties, but we're not.
That's devastating, dude. You could have really parlayed that. That would have been awesome.
I know, but we've had it before.
You need to fight to bring back the bachelorette parties.
We had it before. You have people come in, wearing tiaras and stuff like that, and then someone broke our radiator, so our winemaker said that's it, and he shut it down.
That's a classic old world move. Screw that. Buy a new radiator and get those little 25-year-old. That's a big coup for you, dude.
I know.
I'm devastated for you. That might be the most hurt feelings on Wine Library TV history right there. Back to wine. This is my, not frustration, this is the reality of why these, tier 3, tier 4 places, we talk about this all the time. Anytime we have wines from those offbeat, other 46 kind of places, this is solid Chardonnay. There's nothing even remotely close to wrong with this, which is the first thing people think. Next, I think there's a ton of people that would enjoy this. If I poured this at a party to even like solid wine knowledgeable people, many people wouldn't blink twice. They would just drink and be like, "Oh, where's this Chard from? It's a little more cool climate. Is this Macon even? You know what I mean?" Mm-hmm. So, I don't think that that is an issue. But that being said, there's also it's not the most complex Chardonnay I've ever had in my career. So it is a hair one-dimensional. And so what does that end up feeling like? This ends up feeling like to me, wow, this tastes like a whole lot of $15 to $19 Washington State or Macon, Pouilly-Fussé style, $22. You start looking at $33.50 and you're like, the value plays a little worrisome. It's a classic for my palate, 87, 88 point type wine. Nothing wrong with that at all. Very well made. And that would be like the thing that probably stands out most to me. You can really feel the balance of this wine. I think it's just a situation of the fruit not carrying enough of the weight in this example. How popular is this in the tasting room?
This one and the Merlot is actually very popular as well. They're pretty popular. I mean, we also made like a white Zin style wine, which people really
dig,
jumped all over.
The blush style,
yeah,
sweet. Mm-hmm. And that continues to be a backbone. Again, the Virginias, the North Carolinas, the Arizonas, all these different places you go, especially on the East Coast, you see quite a people still making rosé-based wines.
Yeah.
Holiday Rieslings in Michigan and those kind of places, and they tend to be popular.
But the thing, a lot of, tons of people do that, and with us, we're actually starting to rip out a lot of vines because he doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He wants to make wine the way he wants to make it, and
what he considers real wine, right?
Right.
Instead of a novelty Christmas holiday gift.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, how much is this Merlot?
38.
Now, Merlot's brand equity is a little soft after Sideways.
Yeah.
So you take Merlot's brand equity and you take Pennsylvania's brand equity and you slap a $38 price tag. How much production of this are you making?
It's about 150 cases. Yeah, so it's very small. Everything's very small, yeah.
So that kind of allows you to also be in a position where just on, hard hustle and salesmanship,
right,
that you guys can get through the inventory.
Yeah.
Now, what's been the biggest push for the brand? Has any articles or what's been like the biggest push that either he's told you about or you've witnessed from a marketing standpoint that's brought enough awareness or orders?
I mean, there hasn't been any articles. It hasn't been reviewed by any magazines or anything like that. It took him like 3 months for him to allow me to come down here. And
you were debating that with him.
Yeah.
You had to sell him on it.
Yeah, I had to. It was
and
totally
then he watched on YouTube or WineLibraryTV and he was like, oh, "What's this guy?
Yeah.
Are you serious?" And
well,
then you had to sell him.
There's actually a video that came up with some guy named Sadat X.
Yes.
Which is the true wine
connoisseurs.
I saw that guy. And he actually imports wine from Italy as well.
Yep.
And so he saw that and kind of thought it was hilarious and liked the fact that, there was 4,000 people watching it, with 2 days on the internet.
Sure.
And so I kind of convinced him a little bit to do this. So
that's very cool. Now, so the nose on this wine is pretty fierce. Mm-hmm. And has some real darkness and some intensity. It's a pretty interesting nose. I really like it. Very classical. Mm-hmm. Nice. What do you want to add to this?
I don't know. Yeah, definitely a lot of dark fruit, like that. Really dark blackberry. Even get like just a little bit of like that really high grade, dark chocolate, like that 60-70% dark chocolate on the very back end.
So has he been making the Merlot Reserve since '02, or you're not
No.
sure?
I think '05 is actually the first vintage of
So this
it.
is the first vintage of it.
I believe so. Yeah. That's
Great nose.
Well, I think this is the first vintage that he bottled it as a varietal. So this is 100%.
Before it was in the Ameritage?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. All right, let's give this a whirl. This wine has some serious backbone, and is definitely well made. There's some really, really good fruit here. Explosive blackcurrant, gorgeous blueberries coming through. Very dark wine. I get a little cedar box and a little tobacco on the back end, and the wine is very smooth and well made. This is exceptionally well made.
Yeah, I think this one was a double gold medal winner at the Finger Lakes International Wine Competition, which is always nice to tell people in the tasting room because they're like, oh, it's someone likes it.
They have exactly. They have no idea what that means, but they're like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be like triple gold from the Chris Mott Association of Wine Students, and they'd be like, amazing. That Mott is just unreal. By the way, we need to make that T-shirt. What did I just say? Rewind at Chris Mott Association. I don't even know. Students was in there. Somebody help me with that. We need to make that T-shirt, guys. This is where it's too bad that you were on the show for the winery, because people are going to think I'm being nice because I tend to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
This would be way better off if I was just doing this by myself. I think people would feel more comfortable. But let me tell you something. This wine is stellar. This is explosive fruit. Do I wish it was $25, $28? Yeah, because I do taste 90-point type wines in that price range, but this does not scare me one bit at the $38 price range.
38.
And I'm sure you guys have like case discounts.
Exactly. Yeah, we do like a 10% case
This and
discount and this and that. And
This is a very, very good bottle of wine. This is one of the best bottles of wine I've ever had from the state of Pennsylvania. I've had a lot. I mean, Chadsford's done really. We had a good review on Chadsford on the Thunder Show. This is really, really good. I like this a lot. It comes across very Saint-Emilion-esque to me. Just great silkiness. Really outrageous silkiness coming through, and the fruit is unparalleled. I think this is one of the better efforts I've seen in a long time, and I'm going to score this wine 90 plus points. I like it a lot. A lot. It's good. It's really good. Nice. Good job. All right, let's move on. That was very, very impressive. I did not see that coming. Awesome. Let's rinse. Penns Woods 2005 Ameritage, which is a funny name, Reserve.
very original.
You don't put the blend on the back of the label. Why not?
I don't know.
Or the front.
He does. He's so
Old school?
secretive about it. I mean, I don't even really know what the
Am
percentage breakdown is.
Am I allowed to even air this episode?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to double check with him.
Double text him?
Send it to me first. I'll show it to him.
So you don't know the blend of this?
Yeah, but no, it's Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cab Franc, and then there's Sangiovese and Carmenere.
But you don't know the actual blend.
I don't know the percentage breakdown
and
of it.
It's not a field blend, right?
It's not
field blend meaning that thank you, Mott. Field blend, not you, the wine. Field blend meaning that the vines are actually in the field mixed, not just all rows of Merlot or Cab. So he's planting, the vineyards are separate. You're blending. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you don't know.
I don't know what the blend is. It's mostly Cabernet Sauvignon.
Got it. All right, great color. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. That's an awkward nose.
This one hasn't been open that long.
Back, dance.
No, but it's definitely a little bit earthier. You get kind
Which
of
is okay, because the Cabernet Franc's doing that, and that's fine. I don't mind it, but it smells like thin earthy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's like subtle topsoil coming through.
Yeah. I get a little bit of like charcoaly, kind of burning leaves.
Super charcoaly, like somebody burnt a fire in the woods because they live in a rural part of the world and they won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like burning trash. I mean, really. And then there's a little, on the tail end, kind of like a grapey grape, like Nerds Candy Skittles, grape-flavored Big League Chew kind of thing. Artificial candy kind of style. A little bit of a hot mess on the nose for me. Just completely, it's like really like, those magazines like Us Weekly, they're like, how could they? Or, what, I don't know what the titles are anymore, but, Who Dressed Worst? Or, Fashion Faux Pas. This feels a little bit on the nose like that. It just seems like a little awkward to me. It's disjointed, but it could be young. It might need to come together.
I think it does. I mean, I usually decant this one when I'm serving it,
okay.
So that definitely helps it out a little bit.
Got it. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Now the price point on this is
$55.
right, double nicks. You know, it's going to score a little bit higher than 55, but it's definitely not going to completely blow me away. I think this wine's actually shockingly thin in comparison to the Merlot. And really, if we were just chilling here now and we were just talking about wine, this is exactly what will come out of my mouth. Hey guys, do you think that maybe the Merlot was really the backbone of this wine in the past, and the reason he pulled out the Merlot was because there's something going on there? And oh my God, wait a minute, is Merlot the varietal that in Pennsylvania has the most upside? Like, that's my natural reaction based on this, because this is considerably thinner, lacks a lot of the depth that the prior wine had. It's more expensive. It's the first time it sounds like this Merlot used to be part of this, and now what I tasted in here makes a lot of sense to me of what it could have done for this, because this desperately needs that depth and backbone that this wine has in spades.
I think the Merlot really is going to be the premier grape in Pennsylvania.
That's a really interesting, cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, because it ripens a little bit earlier. I mean, the growing seasons, I guess, it's a little bit shorter. You get a lot of rain.
Mark, can you just wiggle that over there, the screen? Is that the debate? Is that the talk?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to figure out right now. I mean, he's had the vineyard for a little while. You know, it's been planted there for a while. It was a mess before, and he's kind of, you know, really figuring out what grows the best, what doesn't, you know, what to rip out, what to plant and new stuff. So he's really liking the Merlot. He likes the Chardonnay, and he actually likes Sauvignon Blanc as well. So
the Sangiovese is actually quite dominant on this flavor profile for me, especially on the tail end. As like this aftertaste comes through, I really feel the Sanjo. I don't know. I'm really not feeling this wine. I think this is a really classic example of just, you know, wine in this category for this price point that I just can't recommend. You know, for me, this comes across like a 78, 79 point wine. And, you know, again, one palate, just one dude. Wasn't decanted as much as normal. You got to go and visit these guys because clearly they've got a lot of energy and excitement. Taste for yourself. But there is enormous excitement for my palate for the Merlot. Based on what you're saying as you're in the trenches, you know, this is going to be topic of conversation now for me. I'm really curious to see what Merlot is going to be doing in Pennsylvania. I thought the Chardonnay had some highlights, and I'm excited to eventually try the Sauvignon Blanc. But most of all, and what I hope this show accomplishes more than anything else, is people recognizing how much seriousness is going on in places not named Washington, Oregon, or California in this amazing country of ours.
absolutely, I definitely agree with that. I mean, he's definitely has a commitment there, and you know,
What's his name?
Gino Razzi.
Gino Razzi.
Yeah.
Gino, I love you. Please don't kick my ass for that last one.
He's gonna hunt you down.
Is he? He's like that. I kind
like
of feel
that.
like I'm in trouble now. Did you see how mean Mott looks, though? Mott's got my back. And the Vayner Nation is very scary.
That's
but
true.
That being said, a fairly good showing for me. I a little disappointed with the last wine, but that Merlot really makes this episode for me. Any parting shots? Any things you want to leave the Vayner Nation with?
I don't know, nothing really. I mean, just, you know, I like to tell people to keep an open mind and just try lots of new stuff, and
Which I think is the MO, the whole vibe we've got here.
Absolutely. So I think that's why it was kind of, you know, a good fit. So.
Okay, good. Well, question of the day. The guest gets to ask it. Fire away.
I've been
Pondering?
I couldn't figure anything out, but I don't know. What is the last thing that really shocked you? You know, it could be a wine, it could be Lady Gaga getting robbed last night at the
Robbed.
Grammys. It could be an electrical outlet. I don't know. Whatever you guys think. What is the last thing that really shocked and surprised you?
Nice man. Thanks for being on the
Thanks
show.
a lot. Thanks for having me.
You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not. Gino, be kind. Good job, man.
Thanks.